Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to my happy place, also known as my sewing room. And today it's my crochet room because it's going to be all about crochet today. Today is Friday, August 13th, 2021, and this is my crochet episode number 3. Now, my crochet episode number 1 and 2 I did quite a while ago. It was my granny square, and then I showed you how to make the granny square into a pillow. Now, I planned on continuing that sooner than I have now, but because of the pandemic, we had a big problem getting my yarns back in stock. They, all sold out, and we were trying to get them reordered and back in stock, and so that took quite a while. But now I'm happy to say they're here. So all my 26 colors are here in the warehouse now, back in stock at quilt shops, and I'm also going to be getting 8 new colors next spring, so that'll be fun, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But today, what I'm going to be doing in this video is showing you how to make my cute little crochet flower that I talked about last week. And also, Kassidy is going to be showing you how to make her keychains right here. And of course, she makes these out of my chunky thread as well. And also I use those for zipper pulls on my bags. And then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my planner, my new planner that's coming out for 2022. I just got the prototype, and so I want to show you that. And then at the end of the video, I'll talk about a giveaway. So, all right, so what I'm going to do first before I show you how to crochet the flowers, I'm going to show you kind of the things that I embellish it with. So I showed you some of this last week. You can see that I put a little bit of an embellishment on this zipper pull. This bag was made for me by Denise at Dot Dot Goose, and she puts a cute little fabric pull on the zipper, and so it's so easy to just stitch that little flower there and add that. This is one of the bags made for me by Christy at Crosshatch Quilts, and so I added a little flower there. And you can just, when I'm showing you on the bag, you can just stitch them, like undo the zipper and just put a few stitches in, or you can put a safety pin behind it, because when I do these covered buttons, so you can see that there's a little shank there. So that's really easy to be able to put a safety pin through there, or just a few stitches. So there's that bag. And so on this side, on the zipper, I've got one of Kassidy's macrame pulls and one of my charms, and then I added the flower over there to the side, and I think that's really fun. And this is one I showed you last week as well. And so that's her little, Kassidy's little keychain there. And I added the little flower onto the strawberry bag that Christy made me as well. All right, so this is my prim bag. And I thought it would be really fun to add, whoops. Okay, so see my little prim charm right there? Thought it'd be fun to add a flower that matched that down there. And I just stitched right through this mesh right here. And what I love about stitching is I just take some big chunky stitches and put in there so that it's adhered, it's not going to come off or anything like that. But if I did want to remove it, I could just, clip the threads, the stitching threads, not the yarn threads, just clip the stitching threads, and I can put the flower somewhere else. So I kind of like that it's not permanent. All right, now this is my rooster bag that my friend Annette made me, and she had taken some of my Be Cute lace and put on the zipper pull. Let me grab that. All right, see, that's what my Be Cute lace looks like. And so she had put that on the zipper, and so I just went ahead and put a flower stitched right on top of that. So it's just stitched through the lace. And again, if I wanted to take that off, I could just clip just the thread, not the lace or the yarn, but just clip through that. and take it off, but I think that's really cute on there. This is another bag made for me by Christy, and this is made with the Jane Austen fabric. This has got one of Kassidy's little keychains on there, and then I went ahead and put one of my flowers in my chunky thread frosting color, and I like how that looks. It's kind of fun to decide to pick up the bag and see, you know, where you're going to place it and all the different ways that you can. Okay, so this one is my sheet bag that I keep one of my cross stitches in, and so this one had a fabric pull, and so I just stitched it to that. I just have a few more to show you. This one was made for me by Christy from my calico days fabric, and I added a denim flower on that and a gingham. And I was thinking, I pulled this out. She puts a cute little pair of scissors there on the zippers, but I thought it would be cute to maybe add some of my colored Be Cute lace onto there. So, and then this is one that I showed you last week in my floss tube, and this is by Buckleberry Quilts, and she also does a cute little fabric pull on her zipper, and so I just added the flower there. And then one more made for me by Christy. You know, I have a lot more than this, but I don't need to show you all the bags. I just kind of wanted to give you an idea. I did another denim flower on this one, and this one has got Kassidy's little zipper pull keychain on it as well. So that's good for the bags, you know, just to kind of give you an idea of that. But I also want to show you that you could use other things with fabric. Like this is my reader's case for my glasses, and I have so far 3 different readers, but I have more coming out. But you know, because I'm trying to do this on camera and not crinkle the flower. Here we go. Okay, so my readers go in there. Okay, we all know what readers look like. But for this, I just simply stitched a little flower on it, and I thought it was kind of fun for embellishment, but this would be a good one maybe to do a safety pin. This has got that little snap closure. But that's kind of fun. So I did that. And let's see, what else have I got here? Oh, I took this. This is one of my ball jars that I painted with my paint and vintaged up, and I just put some scrap linen on the top, put some batting in there, layered the batting so it was kind of puffy, and then just put a flower on top of there. That's kind of fun. I mean, I just threw this candle jar here. Wouldn't that be cute with the flower on top of there in any color? I don't know. It's kind of fun when you can do that. Just grab like any color of center and put on there. That's kind of fun. And so we did that. The last thing, I think, I've got so much stuff here. Let me stack that on there so I can show you. Is I took one of my tape measures. And so these are my little tape measures, and I know I'm showing you these before, but this is how they come in a package. These are a few of my Prim ones. These are my Vintage Happy 2. But I think that I gathered one of everything that I have. I don't know, I can't remember, but look how cute they are in there in my little vintage Pyrex for my grandma. But what I did was, so my tape measures have a little button here, like a retractable button, and on the other side it's just flat. So I went ahead and put a flower on that side. I just think that's so cute, and I always keep tape measures with my crochet, and so it just kind of made sense. And so I thought that was kind of fun. And of course we can't forget about the featherweight. I didn't bring my featherweight in here to show you, but you know, I make all kinds of flowers and put under my thread, under my spool of thread on my sewing machine, not just my featherweight, but all of my sewing machines, and it just helps my spool to turn easily, and so the thread flows out easily and I don't have any problems like that. Now, I'll talk about the covered buttons for a minute. So this is what I buy. They're just Dritz covered buttons. This happens to be the 3/4 inch size, and I have most popular size that I've used for these are the 7/8 inch, and then the bigger ones right here are 1 1/8. But you can buy them in several sizes, and whenever I buy these, I try to make sure that I buy the package that has the little kit in it. So it says Craft Cover Button Kit, and I'll show you that kind of when I'm showing you. Well, maybe I'll show you how to do those right now. I'll just show you real quick how to cover a button. So the kit means this comes in it, this comes in it, this comes in it, and then you've got your cover, and you've got your backs with a shank or without a shank, and I use the one with the shank. And so let me kind of move that out of the way. So what I do for that is I use my fabric, that's my gingham, and I have them cut up in squares, okay? And the squares come from, this was from my Bee Basics, so this is yardage, so you can use it for yardage. I use it for all kinds of different things, or it's just all one piece. Here's what it looks like on a bolt, kind of rolled out that way. So you can cut up the squares and use them for fabric. They are 3.5 inch squared. You can trim them up to exactly 3.5. And I also use this for bindings a lot. I like to cut it on the bias and use it for bindings, and it's really fun. But it's just kind of like a little gingham cheater cloth. You can use it for pillowcases, aprons, things like that, that I use my cheater cloth for. It's also cute as a doll quilt, and you can use my chunky thread and tie it right here, little tied quilt or a little baby quilt. So I really like this. This one is in my Bee Backgrounds, and this one where you have the tone on tone gingham is in my Bee Basics. So I really like to do covered buttons with my ginghams. I mean, you know, you can use other fabrics too, and I have, but they're kind of like my go-to and my basic. So what I do with that is once I have the squares cut, then I'll cut them into 4ths. And then it has the little circle right here template. So this is like what it looks like when I've cut those squares into 4th, and I'll usually take 3 at a time maybe and stack them on top of each other. Put the circle template up here, and then, you know, I just grab my scissors and trim all the way around that and just cut a circle out. So here's 3 circles that I have. So what I do is I take the little kit. You want to put it so that your right side is down. You take your button cover and you want to put that in there, and you just kind of push that down in, and then you kind of fold that down in a little bit. I kind of just turn it and see how those are all folded so the raw edges are towards the center. And then you can take this little thing right here that they give you in the kit and push it down, and it kind of helps push that all down on the edges. Then you can pick this up with the shank side up right here, and then put that back down there on top. Whoops. And then you can push really hard and get it down, or if that hurts your thumb, this is going to be noisy for a minute, so cover your ears, but you can just take a hammer there we go, and just like that you can just pop it out and you got your covered button. So they're really fun. If you've never done covered buttons before, they're really fun to make and very easy, and it's kind of satisfying to make them. And I usually keep these in a big jar and I just have a variety. I usually do my small ginghams on, when I mean small ginghams, on those gingham panels, I have like small ginghams and then larger scale. So I'll do the larger scale on the 1 1/8, and then the smaller ones on the 7/8 or smaller than that. And so that's kind of fun. So those look really fun inside the flowers. You can just, let me pull this back in. You can just pick them up and put any color center in. You can do kind of like the same colors, or pick something that's, you know, contrasting. And that's really fun to do. Now, another thing you can do, I brought these in to show you that these just came in, my stitch buttons, and this is what the package looks like. And these are big enough that they're great for the centers as well. So let me just grab one out here. So see, that's large enough that you can put it in the center. And what I would do with that was either just use the same color of yarn to sew that on, or else the same color of the button. So you can either do the contrasting or that. And that's what I love about my yarn, is because it all matches my fabrics. My buttons match my fabrics. It's all in my happy colors. And so I can just keep doing different projects that cross over from fabric to yarn to paint to buttons to whatever I want to do, so that they all coordinate. All right. So just trying to figure out what I can move out of the way so that we can get ready to crochet. But before I show you how to do the flower, I wanted to show you real quick about my planner, because I keep getting asked this question over and over again. I think it's my #1 asked question on my YouTube and everything, is how do you find the time to do what you do? How do you get so much done? Do you ever sleep? And yes, I do sleep. And you know, everyone's saying you must have more hours in the day than I do, and that's not really true. I just try to make the best use of my time. And you know, some days are better than others, and some weeks are better than others when I'm more prolific in all of the things I get, you know, completed, and sometimes I don't, but I always plan. So this is what's really fun, is I've always been a planner girl. I'm so excited to have my first planner. So this is the 2022 planner, and it's So Emma is publishing it. It's the first time they've done that too. We've done all different kinds of maybe project planners and things like that, but this is a planner that you can use for just your schedule, for your projects, for just quilting, for crochet, for whatever you want to do. And so I'm just going to open this and show you a little bit about it. It has your calendars, it's dated, and with each month it has different colored tabs so you know what coordinates. But okay, so this is February, so you can see the layout of the month, so you can see the days of the month that way. And then it starts out with notes, and then I've got priorities, shopping, personal goals, health goals. And so you can make these tabs exactly what you want them to be by just filling in what you want, or you can stick with what I usually do. And then you turn the page. Now this is yellow because this is color coded in to January. So this Monday the 31st is January, but now these are denim because it's part of February. So now you have all of your days starting with Monday, and then you've got your weekend here at the end, and then kind of a little to-do list. I've also put my water droplets in here that I can check off, and so that I can be drinking my eight glasses of water a day, 64 ounces. And so it just keeps going, and they all look the same, but they're just all different colors. And at the end of all of the months is we get to the notes, okay? And so now I have pages of notes that coordinate, if you want them to, with the months. You could like write your January notes in here because this coordinates with that. You don't have to be, you know, that coordinated if you don't want to. You can just simply use this for as many notes as you want. And So then I put one of my favorite things that I like to talk about in my planning. When people ask me, I always say planning isn't about being perfect, because it isn't perfect. But it is about making the best use of your time. And that's why I use a planner. That doesn't mean I always stick to my plan and everything that I've written down, but I try to. And a lot of times I'll write in pencil those things that I can maybe move a couple of days later if I wasn't able to finish those. But when I have my deadlines to write down, I write them in marker or in pen. I use my planner pens that I did with my Scrappy Project planner. And this paper is really nice to handle those pens. And I forgot to tell you about the cover that is linen. I chose to do linen and embossing, and of course spiral, so that it's easy to use. And I really love this size so that it will fit in my purse and my bag. And I just really wanted to design a beautiful, nice planner, because I pick a planner for the year and I use it every day for the whole year. And so I wanted something that I would love to use every day and that I wouldn't get tired of looking at. And of course I'll be decorating these pages like I always do, and I'll be using my my sewing machine, bookmarks, my little tabs, and all my paper clips, my washi tape, all the stuff that I use for my other planners. And so that's going to be fun. So I'm excited. At the first of the year, every once in a while I'll show you what I've got going on in my planner, and try to hide the secret stuff that I can't show you, but I'll show you how I decorate it. And so this is available right now for pre-order, and I'll leave a link in case you're interested in that. But I really wanted to talk about how I plan my time, and that is the first thing that I do is I write it down in a planner, and then I have my guide to follow. All right, so I'm going to clear everything out, and I'm going to come back in and we're going to crochet a flower. Okay, I'm back and ready to go. So here we've got my chunky thread here, and this is in Cayenne, but I just wanted to show you the label and talk about that for a minute. I know that I have told you about this in my first video of my crochet, but we can just go over it a little bit. I will leave a link to that video so it will tell you more details, but just wanted to let you know that my skeins come in 50 grams. That's 140 yards, 128 meters. It's 100% cotton, and it is weight number 2, which is kind of like a baby yarn weight. And so that's what my skeins look like. Now, this one is what I'm going to be working with today with my flower. This is called, this color is Riley Aqua. And the reason it's shaped like this is because I use these vintage yarn winders right there. And I know I've showed you that before. It just clips onto the end of your table. My granddaughter Sophie, when she comes over, she likes to wind my skeins here into this shape. But either way, I use like a yarn bowl. I can put the skein in there too and feed it out, or put it in there. And I just painted this wooden one that I bought from Hobby Lobby with my Farm Girl paint and tea kettle. And so that's how I start out. All right, so my hooks, I'm using an E. This is what my hooks come in that work with my yarn. This is an E, and this is a G, and this is a 7. Shows you on the back. So the 7, which is bigger, I use when I use 2 strands of yarn at the same time to crochet when I'm doing like pot holders or something like that. And the E one is the one that I use the most often with this. But if you like to do a little bit looser crochet, just a little bit, you can go one size bigger, which is the G. So, all right, so now I'm going to be putting my yarn in my hook. I just put it over the top, cross over, and then I wrap it around here, leaving me a loop to come through, and that's how I put it on my hook. And again, I've shown this in my other videos, and this one, instead of being kind of beginning crochet, I'm just going to show you how I make the flower, but I will talk about each stitch that we make just to kind of refresh you if you're new. This is a fun, easy flower to make. So now that I've got it on my hook, I need to chain 6. Okay, so there's 6. And then what I'm going to do is just put my hook in that first chain that I did. I'm going to grab my yarn and pull it through so I can slip stitch that and join it into a ring. So I've got that little ring there. Okay, and now I'm going to chain 2. I like to chain 2 to stand in for my double crochet. I like to call it kind of like my stunt double there. And so we're going to be doing double crochets next. And so some people like to chain 3 for theirs. I like to do 2. So this is how I'm going to be doing a double crochet. You wrap around, you go into the hole, grab your yarn, come back out, and go through the first 2 loops on your hook, wrap around and go through the second 2. Okay, so that's 1 double crochet. Now these are US terms. In the UK that would be a treble crochet, just so you know, so that you don't get confused that I am doing US terms here. Now, so this is my little stunt double crochet, and this is my double crochet. I need 1 more because I'm going to be making a set of 3. This is pretty much how you start out a granny square too. So, all right, so I wrap around. Let me get that, hang on, let me get that tail out of the way. There we go, wrap around. Now I've got 3 on my hook, wrap around, go through the first 2, wrap around, go through the second 2, and that's my second double crochet completed. This is my stand-in, and so I've got a set of 3. In between each set of 3, we're going to be doing 6 of these sets. In between each one, you're going to chain 2. So chain 2, and now I'm going to get ready for my next double crochet set. So there's the first one. There's my second double crochet. There's my third double crochet. So now I've got 2 sets here. Now I'm going to chain 2. And I'm just going to keep going all the way around and do 4 more of these so that I have 6 of them. And then I'll show you how we join that. All right, so I've got 6 on here. You can see that I just pushed that around so that I would have room. Now I've got 6. I'm going to chain 2 before I join into the first set, and then on that second chain, so here's my first, this is my stunt double. Remember my stand-in, there's 1 chain, there's 2 chain. I just go into the top there of that second one and do a slip stitch. All right, so now that's going to kind of squish together as a set right there, and I've got those chain 2s in between. So I've got 6 sets of 3 double crochets, and now I've got 6 holes that I'm going to be doing the petals in so that it looks like that. Now at this point I pulled these out because I wanted to show you. You can do 2 colors if you want to. These are kind of fun to do, you know, 2 colored flowers. And at this point what I would do was just end this and change colors and just start my petals with another color. So, but because I want this flower to all be the same color, then I'm going to need to start into this hole right here. And so what I do is just in the top of these 2 chains right here, I just do a slip stitch so that I can just travel across there. So that was in the top of each chain there, and now I'm here where I'm going to be doing a single crochet. So the first thing I'm going to do to make this little scallop or this little petal is single crochet, and then I'm going to do a half double crochet. How you do a half double crochet is you wrap around, you go in, you grab your yarn, and instead of like when you're doing a double crochet, how you just go through the first two, you're going to go through all three of them. And that completes your stitch. So that's a half double crochet, which is just a step taller than the single crochet. And now I'm going to do 3 double crochets. Crocheting far away from me is kind of a little bit hard, but I'm trying to do it so that you can have the best view in the camera. Okay, there's 3 double crochets, and so I'm doing what I call going up the hill. I've done a single crochet, a half double crochet, and then this is the top of the hill, these 3 double crochets. Now I'm going to go back down by doing the same thing in reverse, meaning a half double crochet and then a single crochet. So that's 1 petal. All right, so before I go on to the next one, I want to show you this. Did you notice that I wrapped that end around inside my ring as I was crocheting along? So now all I have to do is I just have to trim that off, and then that can be out of my way. Okay, so there's the first petal, and I'm just going to do the same thing into this next hole here. I'm just going to go right in to a single crochet, half double crochet. That's the one where I do all 3, and then 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I'm ready to go down the hill. Now at any time if you feel like that you need more room, you can just go like this and push your little stitches over. Okay, so half double crochet, I wrap around, go in, come back up, wrap around, and then go through all 3 on my hook. And now single crochet, no wrapping around, I just go through and come through these 2 loops. So there I have 2 petals, and now I'm just going to keep going all the way around. Okay, so I've just completed my 6th petal, and now what I'm going to do is slip stitch into my single crochet, the top of my single crochet of my first petal right there. So you can just see that little chain right there at the top. All you do is put your hook right through both of them, and I like to use the end of my hook and really use that to my advantage and just slip stitch by joining them, pull up. This is how my grandma always taught me to end off, and so this is how I've always done it. Is I have this loop right here and just pull that through it and pull up tight. Okay, and then I've got my cute little crochet flower. Now I already took care of trimming that end off because I wove it within there, but let me grab my needles. So I've got these yarn needles, and I love them because they're plastic, so they're lightweight. They have a big eye and they have a blunt end. And how I weave my ends in is I turn it around to the back side. This is what the back looks like. This is what the front looks like. And I like to insert my needle in first and then thread my yarn. So what I do is I just find something that's near where the yarn comes out that I can hide my stitches behind. So see, I've just woven through those. You can't see it through the front, but you can see it in the back. And then I just take that and put the yarn through, pull it through, and tug on it, but not too tight so that I don't distort my petal shape. And then I'll go ahead and go back through one more time. For these flowers, I think going back twice is enough, but like if I was doing a blanket or something like that, I would just secure it even more by just going back one more time. And when I go back, I'm going over a piece of yarn each time so that I'm not just undoing my stitch. So I just do that, and then I grab my scissors and I just trim real close to right there. And there's my flower, and that's nice and secure. And then I can grab, you know, covered buttons or anything like that and put in the center. I can do 2 colors of, meaning, you know, alternating colors depending on what I'm putting them on. And then I can also make 2 colored flowers, and they're really fun. Okay, so there's my tutorial for my cute little crochet flowers. And now Cass is going to come in here and take my place, and she's going to show you how to make her keychains.
Okay, I'm going to show you how I make these little tassel keychains. So I have been making these out of my mom's chunky thread, and there's a lot of different ways you can make them. I've made a bunch of different kinds using like different macrame knots and things like that. But these ones are the quickest and easiest. So I like to make these because it's really easy to make multiple to put them on your project bags and things like that. So with these, they're pretty customizable. You can make them however like thick you want and however long you want, depending on the amount of strands that you want to use. So for this size, I like to cut 17 strands of, let's see, they're going to be about 24 inches each. Okay, yeah, that's about right. Doesn't have to be exact, but just as close to 24 as you can get. So 17 strands total, and then you are going to set them out in 2 piles of 8 strands each, and then set one to the side. So for this one, I am using the color Frosting. These ones are Butterscotch, Breezy, and Cayenne. And then I also made this slightly smaller one in Lipstick, just to kind of show the difference. And then these keychains that I'm using, you can buy them on Amazon. This is the brand. And then on this label, it shows all the information about the size and everything. They come in silver and gold, I believe. So that's all you need is your 17 strands and 1 keychain. And then what you're going to do is you're just going to set this one separate strand to the side. And then with your 2 groups of 8, you're just going to cross them one over another and kind of try to get the ends as even as possible. Doesn't have to be exact. I just kind of hold them up and make sure it's pretty centered. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your keychain and you're going to thread this right side through. Oh, missed a strand. Okay, you're going to thread this right side through, and then you're going to thread this bottom end through as well. And just kind of keep them crossed over as best as you can. I just kind of try to keep it laying flat the entire time that I'm doing this because it helps me remember which strand goes where if I keep them directly across from each other. So I actually kind of made up this pattern using kind of like a boondoggle knot. So if you ever made like those little boondoggle keychains, this is exactly the same. So what you're going to do is you're going to cross the top one over, and I just hold it in my hand like this. And then you're going to cross the bottom one to the top and kind of make these 2 little loops. Then you're going to take this right one and you're going to go over the first one and under the second and pull it across. And then you're going to take this left one and same thing, over and under, and it makes that. Now all you have to do is pull it tight. So I just kind of grab 2 strands in each hand and just slowly kind of pull it this way. And then once it doesn't pull any tighter that way, if you rotate it and pull it the other way, it'll pull tight. Then you can kind of pinch it and pull it and do whatever you need to do. Sometimes it's easy to get the strands like twisted. Before you pull it tight, you can always kind of pull, you know, twist the strands back so that they're laying as flat as possible. This one's a little bit twisted, so I'm just going to kind of tug it that way a little bit and then pull it tight again. So now you're going to do the exact same thing. It doesn't matter if you rotated it, it's the same knot each way. So you can tell exactly which way it's supposed to cross over because this top one is kind of on the right now. So this one crosses over to the right and this one crosses up on the left side. And then this bottom one is going to go over the first one, under the second, pull it tight. Then this top one goes over the first, under the second. I just kind of keep it laying flat until I pull it tight a little bit. And then start to pull it tight. So this is what I mean by sometimes it can get like a little bit twisted. You can go in and kind of pull those individual strands and make sure it's laying nice and flat. Same with this one. Okay. One more time. Same thing. So this one crosses down this way. The bottom one crosses up. And you're going to go over, under. Just keep it as flat as possible. And then over, under. Until it's tight enough that you can pick it up and tighten it this way. Okay, so that's 3 knots of the same exact thing. All you're going to do is make 7 of those. So if you want this part of the keychain to be longer, you can make as many knots as you want. I just do 7 because I like that amount and I like to leave the bottom kind of tasseled. You can see on this smaller one, I did less and it's still super cute. So it's totally personal preference. You can do as many knots as you want. I am going to finish it by doing 7. Okay, so I finished up all my knots. Now all you have to do to finish it off is just wrap that last piece that you left aside around and then pull it through. So how you're gonna do that is you're gonna make a loop on one end, and you're gonna pinch the loop with your thumb up here. And then this part, basically whatever way you can find that's most comfortable for you to kind of hold both ends. It's a little awkward to get it started, but once you get it started, it's super easy. So I just kind of pinch that tail from the loop down in with these other strands. And then I just kind of pull this through. And start wrapping it. You don't have to worry about getting it super tight for your first couple wraps. I kind of just more worry about getting it around. And then after you get a couple wraps done, you can pull it tight and then kind of use your fingers and like push it closer to the top. Then just make sure you keep pinching your loop up here so you don't lose it. And start wrapping. And I just kind of push up as I go to keep it nice and tight up towards the top. And then once you've got a couple wraps done, you don't really have to worry about losing your loop anymore, and you can kind of just wrap faster. And I wrap, well, probably about like just under an inch. And then I start going the other way and wrapping it back up towards the top. So once you get to the top, you should have just a little bit of a tail left. What you're going to do is you're going to put that tail through the loop that you left. And then you're going to find the other end of that loop and pull it, and it will tighten this loop down over this strand and tuck it in. And then I just pull it as tight as I can to get it super tucked in there. And you can kind of just push it up to make it a little tighter. And then all you have to do is cut this little strand off as close as you can. So I kind of bend it a little bit just to kind of get my scissors away from this because I don't want to accidentally trim something I shouldn't. And just trim it off as close as you can. Then, depending on how long you want it, you can just cut it off as short or as long as you want. So with these ones, let's measure. Oops. The tassel part itself under the knot is like 2.5 inches. So I am just gonna hold it next to this one and just trim it to be about even. And I just trim all the strands at the same time. This one turned out to be a tiny bit longer, but that's totally fine. So they're super easy. They take me about, I would say like 5 minutes each to make them. They're super fast. So once you get going, you can make quite a few in a pretty short amount of time. And I just like them because you can really like personalize with the amount of knots. Like I've done some where I just have like 2 or 3 knots and then like a longer tassel going off the end, and that's really cute too. So there are lots of ways that you can customize them, and I just think they're super cute and easy. So that's how I make the little boondoggle keychain, or Kassidy's keychain as my mom has been calling it. So that is it for that. And now I'm gonna have my mom come back and talk to you about this week's giveaway.
Okay, I'm back. Thanks, Cass. That was fun. Okay, so for those who are maybe new to my channel or who haven't seen my blog or anything, Kassidy is my daughter, and she is now 22 and married. But I've been blogging about her and showing the things that we've sewn together and stuff like that forever, since she was 9, since I bought her first sewing machine. So if you want to see what Kassidy looked like or watch her growing up, like a lot of you have, then you can go on my blog. And of course, there's always a link to my blog here on my channel during the under the video description. And so anyway, I'm so proud of her, and she's just amazing. And thanks, Cass, for filming me every week. And all right, so let's talk about this week's giveaway. So it's going to be all about chunky thread, and I have a lot of stuff to show you. But first, I want to announce last week's giveaway, which was the stitch, not the stitch giveaway, the floss tube giveaway from episode number 10. And the winner is Starry Night Stitcher. So Starry Night Stitcher, I have left a comment, and we will get in touch that way. But thanks so much for subscribing to my channel. Thanks everyone for entering the giveaway. I'm continuing this summer to do giveaways to celebrate my 1-year anniversary. And so because this is a crochet video, I'm going to be giving away chunky thread. So the first thing that's going to be given away is, of course, chunky thread. But first I want to show you, it's all going to fit inside. Sorry for the noise, but this is my Big Dotty project bag. Okay, and this is by It's So Emma. It's one of those big mesh bags, and I really wanted to do a big bag to fit not only cross stitch patterns, or a lot of cross stitch patterns into them, but I wanted it for my crochet and for quilting and things like that as well. So I'm going to be putting everything in this Big Dotty bag and sending it to you. So Big Dotty bag, and then these 12 skeins right here of yarn. So this is all of my chunky thread, and of course, again, it's all 100% cotton yarn. And this is Cloud, this is Nutmeg, this is Riley Gray, this is, oh wait, what did I call this green one? Oh, that's Spring Green. This is Riley Red, this is Breezy, this is Beehive, this is Vivid, this is Lipstick, this is, I don't know why I can't remember my greens, this is Basil, this is Denim, and this is Autumn. So that's what's going to be going in there. Of course, you'll be getting a package of my hooks. You'll be getting a package of my yarn needles. You'll be getting a package of my stitch markers. Now, I haven't shown you yet how I use these because we haven't needed them in any of our projects, but I will be needing them in more projects, so I'll be showing you that. Let's see, I'm going to be including my Prim Lister notebook, because I always have a notebook that I keep notes in my crochet. I always keep that in there with a pencil so that I can, you know, keep notes in what I'm doing. Oh, this is sitting in there too. This is my point protectors. Now, these you can put on knitting needles and things like that, but I always use them for my scissors, and so that when I put them in my project bags, they're not poking holes. And so there's the tube of them, and there's several sizes and colors in there. So there's a package of that. These are my new floss flowers. Now, I have had floss flowers in the past that were 6 colors, but now these are in 12 colors, okay, in a bigger pack of 12, and these are put out by It's So Emma. I love these, and you saw earlier in my little tomato pincushion sewing tin that this is what I use not only in cross stitch, but I use these to wrap my bits of yarn around, like my leftovers. because I like to use my leftovers for different rounds of like a granny square or something like that. You'd be surprised how much just a little bit of yarn, when you have leftover from a whole skein, I don't just throw it away. I wind them around these floss flowers. And so I'll be adding that. And then finally, my blocking board. Now, I didn't talk about this in this video because I don't block my flowers. You could block the flowers, but I don't really, I just shape them with my fingers because they're 100% cotton. You can kind of shape them out. Granny squares, I definitely do block and other things like that. But I'm going to be including this. So this is my blocking board. It has a square grid on one side and a round grid on the other, so that you can use that for doilies or, you know, granny circles. And then with that, I use my pretty pins that are my rust-proof blocking pins. So you definitely need to use rust-proof pins with the blocking board. And these are T-pins. These are very, you know, very nice. They're rust-proof. And then I use my spray bottle. Okay, and I did show you in my video, crochet video number 1, on how to block. And so this is my new Mr. bottle that's in. And so I'll be sending you one of those as well. And so one winner, and the rules are you need to subscribe to my channel, of course. You need to like this video, and then I need you to leave me a comment and tell me what you loved about this video, what you liked about this video, what your favorite part is, or something like that. But use the word crochet, since this video is about crochet. And of course, I guess Kassidy's boondoggle keychains aren't crochet, but they are made with my chunky thread. So just use the word crochet and let me know. And so thanks so much. I'm so happy to be able to have done another crochet video and to continue on with these. I hope you're as excited as I am. Let me know if you'd like the crochet videos to keep on coming. I know this one was kind of long because, again, I had so much to show you because it's been so long since I've done crochet so with you. Not me, I crochet, you know, almost every day, but it's been a long time since I've done crochet with you, and so I felt like I kind of needed you to catch up. But if there's things that I kind of skipped over because I assumed you already knew about my yarn or my crochet stitches or things that I've shown you before, please, I will leave the link. Please feel free to go visit those so you can kind of catch up with that, and so that if you'd like to continue on with this series with me, you will be all up to date. So I will be back next week, and it is my remix series with my So Simple Shapes, the August block. So I'll be back next week doing that, and I will announce the winner for this week's giveaway on to next week. And of course, next week I'll be having another one. So again, thanks so much, and I will chat with you later.